Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to KPW War Zone. It is I, Tapey Styles, calling the action right down the middle, flying solo as always, and we sincerely apologize for the technical difficulties that were plaguing us during this stormy Monday night. But a storm is brewing, a storm is coming. July 26th, our next monthly special event, Vendetta, comes soon to the Kumite Forum, but also to come here tonight. Some of the best bell-to-bell action that you could expect from the home of Fighting Spirit, as we see our opening bout about to go underway here. As the King of Stego style, Corey Sinclair, takes on the director, Steven Gielberg. Both of these combatants looking to engage in some good old-fashioned exhibition. Steven Gielberg looking for that perfect chance, that opportunity to shine out big and bright. He wants to be standing center stage here tonight to get one step closer to championship gold. It has perfectly eluded him ever since September 2nd, 2024. That was the last time Steven Gielberg had any sort of gold on his waist. The only belt to his name being the KPW Hardcore Championship. In that meantime, Corey Sinclair has defended the KPW Hardcore Championship multiple times, being able to call himself a two-time hardcore champion. Corey Sinclair, also a former KPW Twitch champion. Both champions of each respective division. Kabuki representing the KPW Hardcore division, looking for new challenges, looking for fresh blood. And of course, I can't go without saying, after the events of Summer Spark this past weekend, the controversial KPW Twitch champion Josue will be seen in action later on tonight, and you know he's going to have a quick finger on the pulse regarding the winner of this bout. Quick hip check from Steven Gielberg. Corey Sinclair looking to close the gap here. I don't know what type of waist lock transition. Corey Sinclair elbows his way out of the grasp of Steven Gielberg. And the action spills to the outside.
3, 4.
Steven Gielberg trying to ram Corey Sinclair's head into the edge of that apron, into the edge of the ring mat. But Corey Sinclair was able to just pump the brakes there.
12, 13.
Steven Gielberg getting a bit frustrated in the ring here. Retrieving a table from the Kumite faithful here tonight. Rolling wheel kick from Corey Sinclair. And his signature Corey, as we've come to expect from Steven Gielberg since the beginning of the new year. So is taking shots below the belt. Fighting without chivalry. fighting without pride or honor or dignity. Big boot taking down Corey. Corey rolls away from Steven Gilbert. Fairly even matched bout here to kick off War Zone here tonight. One of the longest running weekly episodic shows across all of Twitch professional wrestling, 66 weeks in a row and counting. Arm drag by Corey Sinclair. Even Gilbert was looking for that shuffle sidekick, but Corey Sinclair had it scouted. Waistlock transition, forearm smash to the back of Steven Gilbert. And now it is the former two-time hardcore champion in the driver's seat. Looking for the oil spill, he gets it. And Corey Sinclair, he's playing for keeps here. A meteor strike for good measure. Cover.
1, 2, 3. Pinfall.
And the director has been ousted from his casting chair here tonight. A lightning quick start to kick off War Zone here tonight. Both of these men came into this bout here tonight with something to prove, with something to fight for, with strong impressions to make for the Kumite faithful here tonight. And at the end of the night, at the end of the bout, when it was all said and done, the king of Stego style, Corey Sinclair, proved to the world that he just had a bit more heart to fight with. Congratulations to Corey Sinclair on a quick yet precise victory here to kick off War Zone. But coming up next, you'll be seeing the Twitch champion Josue in singles action as he goes one-on-one against the blue chipper, one half of the Bam Bus. You're of course talking about Bam Dardino, but also to come later on in the night, we'll be seeing Chaos Control, another part of Parliament, go up against Bloom Bilko the Scheme as they make their return to the tag team division here tonight. And finally, in our main event of the evening, as part of the World Heavyweight Championship Open, a new series announced just this past Saturday night at Summer Spark to determine the next challenger, the next #1 contender for the World Heavyweight Championship at Vendetta. We'll be seeing 4 men engage in 4 corners action here tonight. The winner of this bout will advance to a #1 contenders match in just 2 weeks' time on War Zone. We'll be seeing another 4 men randomly selected and drawn in the main event of next week's edition of War Zone to determine the 2 most fit combatants for reigning defending world heavyweight champion, the star attraction, France's greatest export, Pierre Cinema. But before we get to our regularly scheduled singles bout, the KPW Twitch champion, we are standing by backstage, cameras rolling, with the leader of Parliament. We are of course talking about the man that brought Josue into the folds of Parliament over the course of the weekend, none other than the Monarch, Oliver English.
Summer Spark was a wondrous night, not just for the wrestling world but for Parliament as well. In just one night, I have graced the world with a glimpse of my great vision. And next week, I shall be competing to demonstrate what it will take to lead the new regime. The condition of this place, it's so corrupted. Just like this dump of a country, there's no unity, no harmony. And if your best men on the front line are the likes of Popcorn Papi and Popo, this place won't survive. And at least somebody understands the idea of strength and solidarity in numbers. Please welcome the newest member of Parliament, the KPW Twitch champion, Josue. This man allowed trailer trash to press him down under their thumbs for too long, and in spite of their efforts he still became a Twitch champion in the first month of his career. A piece of the great vision is about unlocking true potential. And Josue, you can't let people determine your worth for you. You proved your worth on Saturday by walking away from those two. You've been a diamond in the rough for way too long. It's time to show Bam Dardino in that ring just how bright you can shine.
Some sage advice from the Monarch, Oliver English. Now that he has locked the Twitch champion Josue firmly into the grasp of Parliament, telling him that no other man is going to determine his worth for him. We thought Josue and his mentor Popcorn Papi had a tight thing going on. We thought that they had some strong rapport with one another. And Josue would go on to shock the world with that massive betrayal. Seemed like Parliament had some ulterior motives to using the heartthrob Popo last Saturday night. It seemed like Josue had ulterior motives of using Popcorn Papi over the course of the past several weeks. As we heard from Oliver English, he plans to step into the ring next Monday night on War Zone, as we'll be seeing the leader of Parliament, the Monarch, in singles action. Here we have two of the brightest rising stars here in KPW slugging it out in the ring here tonight. Bam Dardino, the current holder of that lethal lottery contract that he won all the way back at Spring Stampede here. It entitles him to a world heavyweight championship bout at any time of his choosing until the year is out. Of course, Josue, the meteoric rise that we've seen from this man. Man was barely even a part of the company just 6 weeks ago. And in that time, he's become the Twitch champion all the way back at Mayhem. He's built up what we thought was some strong rapport with what we thought his mentor was in Popcorn Poppy. And then everything changed at Summer Spark. Josue a bit amped up, a bit eager to show to the world just how aggressive he plans to dish out the damage here to Bam Dardino. But Bam, he's not going to make it look easy, folks. Good sweep kick from Josue, taking Bam off his feet even momentarily. Fireman's carry from Josue to Bam Dardino. Josue going to the top rope here. Moonsault onto Bam Dardino. As Josue takes the time to gloat, takes the time to hot dog and grandstand all across the Kumite Forum. Bam Dardino attempts one of those signature picture perfect drop kicks. Josue scouts it, drops him down, and tries to cover him. Ladies and gentlemen, these two men are going to have the work cut out for one another. Both of these men have quite a bright future here in KPW. And they have one hell of a support system to boot. Josue finding comfort in Parliament over the course of the past 48 hours. Bam Dardino, of course, being part of one of the most popular, one of the most acclaimed tag teams across all of KPW, the Bam Bus. In one half of that group, side by side with Ricky Rhombus. Bam Dardino with a moonsault from the top. Cover. And a 1 count. Courtesy of our lead official, Slap Thigh Jones. Spinning back heel kick. Recoiling off the ropes goes a Josue. Quick collar and elbow tie up. Josue throws Bam down to the floor. Sharks waiting in the water in the moat outside the ring here. As the Monarch, Oliver English, smells blood from the blue chipper.
11, 12.
Look at the look on that ugly mug of the Monarch. Overhead strike. Bam Dardino, head full of steam here, looking to build up some more energy here. Vertical suplex onto the Twitch champion. Quick strikes from Josue. A real fireball of energy here tonight. Heel kick. Taking down Bam Dardino. Running Hurricane Rana into the corner. Springboard moonsault. Propelling himself over the top rope. Across the corner of the ring there. Perfect landing onto Bam Dardino.
2.
And don't get mistaken, Josue is one of the most spry spring chickens that we got here across all of KPW's locker room. If anybody can match him in speed and athleticism, it's certainly a man like Bam Dardino. Josue stomping a mud hole into the face of Bam Dardino in the corner there. Snapmare by Bam. Bam looking to go up top here. Moonsault onto a prone Josue. Bam was looking to go for a clothesline there. Josue using that momentum against him as he stumbles right into that drop toe hold. Josue looking to exploit him even further with that bow and arrow lock. Still to come later on tonight. Tag team action coming up next, featuring more members of the scheme. Josue with a Phoenix splash from the top. And it's quite fortunate that Bam Dardino was right there at the ropes. But perhaps Bam's luck has ran out. That tiger driver, that patented tiger driver, as Josue hooks the legs in, cinches him deep. High angle power bomb there. Folding up the blue chipper in convincing fashion here tonight. As Josue continues that upwards trend in his short yet very illustrious, very vivid career. This might have been one of the biggest steals in KPW history as Parliament seeks to gain more dominance in the locker room here. And they certainly got one hell of a foot in the door with Josue, the resident KPW Twitch champion, at the helm. Congratulations to Josue on a decisive, almost dominant victory here tonight. But coming up next, from one section of Parliament to another, Chaos Control, Kruger, Papyrus go toe-to-toe in tag team action against Gloom, Bilko, better known as the Scheme. Think of the importance that the Monarch holds to these two men's very lives and nature. Or even the idea of their name, Chaos Control, being completely subservient to Oliver English's great vision. Scheme marching down to the ring. Two mainstays in the tag team division. look to reestablish their foothold here tonight. Bilko starting things off against Kruger here. Chaos Control have been vying for dominance in the tag team scene for quite some time now. They went toe-to-toe with Bob and Tate when they were still the tag team champions. They went toe-to-toe with our reigning defending tag team champions, High Velocity, last Saturday night, while ultimately coming up short. While ultimately coming across two roadblocks in their journey towards the gold here, in their attempts to further that so-called great vision that the Monarch seems to preach a lot about in recent weeks. They have to make every second count here. They need to embrace what they're doing from bell to bell here. The Pirates, the legal man, Bilko, barely even half the man's size here. Bilko tags out, Bloom tags in. Chaos Control, or rather Parliament, as they choose to take priority in being part of the bigger picture there. Also more formal attire and almost more cultish appearance here. We have to wonder, we have to ponder, we have to speculate just how long this was in the plans for the Monarch, Oliver English. How much time did he have to plan out and orchestrate and recruit these two absolute monsters in Papyrus and Kruger? Bloom's all fired up here. He gets the scoop slam on the 400-pounder. Tag made to Kruger. Much lighter of the two members of what seems to formerly be called Chaos Control, now fully embracing the umbrella that have consumed them as Parliament. Headlock takeover from Kruger to Bloom. Wrist lock, elbowed into the shoulder blade there of Bloom. Snapmare from Bloom. As Kruger was right there to reach the ropes, wasting no time trying to save all the minutes, all the seconds that he can here. As I'm being informed here by the board of directors, KPW has started to embrace a new rule regarding time limit stipulations, as non-title bouts will all be competed under 30-minute time limits. Championship bouts, of course, going for 60. Dragon screw courtesy of Bloom A quick assist for his tag team partner Bilko there. Overhead strike taking Bilko through the ropes. And speaking of tag team action, we've received word, not just from the Monarch Oliver English, but the board of directors apparently greenlighting yet another bout for Parliament next week on Warzone. As win, lose, or draw, Chaos Control, Kruger, Papyrus are locked to go in tag team action against Headband Tommy Tanks, Big Bernard the Influence in just 1 week's time. Also confirmed for next week's edition of Warzone, we'll be seeing the Heartthrob return to action for the first time since Summer Spark, as he'll be going one-on-one against the Scrapyard Saint solo. Also previously confirmed earlier on in the night, Oliver English will be competing in singles action, a rare occurrence for him in Warzone history.
1, 2, 3.
And of course, the main event for next week's edition of Warzone, much like here tonight, we will be seeing 4 randomly selected entrants engage in combat in a 4 corners bout. Elimination rules apply. Pinfalls, submissions, all count towards victory until there is 1 man standing in the ring. We'll be seeing 4 men go to war in the main event here tonight. We'll be seeing another 4 men go to war next week on Warzone. The 2 respective winners of those matches will be competing in 2 weeks' time in the #1 contenders bout for the World Heavyweight Championship. The winner of that bout, of course, advancing to Vendetta to face Pierre Cinema for the gold.
3, 4.
The scheme here looking to divide and conquer both members of Parliament here. Oliver English almost looks at these two as 2 of his bastardized children here. Having no respect for Kruger or Papyrus. Just mindless henchmen to ensure that greater vision comes true. Frontside drop kick from Kruger. A low blow from Bilko. Brainbuster. Don't take the time to celebrate yet, kid. This match is still ongoing. Tag made to Papyrus. Papyrus looking for a vertical suplex, but Bilko floats out of it. Big boot sent Bilko through the ropes here. Bilko with a body slam to the big man. We're gonna go 2 for 2 here, and he's all fired up. No, there's no way he's gonna get Michinoku driver on the big man.
1,
Cover.
2, 3. Pinfall.
And that is one hell of a lasting impression if this is the first time you've seen this scheme in tag team action, well, now you know just exactly what Bloom and Bilko can be capable of. We've seen them compete for tag team gold before, albeit unsuccessful in previous endeavors. We have now seen yet another roadblock thrown in place here, thrown completely in the way of Parliament. And what an impressive feat of strength that was from Bilko. We get another look at that Michinoku driver here. That is a 400-pound man being scooped up and slammed with such force, with such sheer impact. Lateral press cover. Kruger not even making the effort to kick out. I don't even think he expected this sort of offense. Certainly one of the most shocking victories in recent memory. Congratulations to a returning scheme, Bloom Bilko, for overthrowing Parliament in tag team action here tonight. But still to come here tonight, our main event of the evening, Four Corners action. As we come to reveal who the first four members of the World Heavyweight Championship Open are in just a few short moments.
I believe that's one down, and any 8 of you left to go. Bob gave me one hell of a fight at Summer Spark. He showed to the world just how badly he wanted to call himself the champ. But there was only one man that wanted this gold more, and that man was me. Vendetta can't come soon enough, and I'll be ready and waiting for the best man to step up to the plate. Now let's see who 4 of these potential men are.
Here's Cinema, waiting anxiously, waiting patiently, just like the rest of us. And I think we got our first answer for who has drawn for the championship open here. The heartthrob, Popo, finding a rare stroke of luck here. He was not successful whatsoever at Summer Spark, going toe-to-toe against Hostway. But Popo was, of course, the stepping stone, that launching pad for Pierce Cinema to even get that opportunity that he took full advantage of to become World Heavyweight Champion. And joining the fray is one half of the First Nation, the War Machine, Slarty. Slarty would love nothing more to take full advantage of another opportunity thrown his way. Through sheer force, through brutality, through unbridled, pure violence. He's ready to bring the fight to them no matter what. And speaking of forces of destruction, who knows if this man is even competing here tonight at 100% after the events of Summer Spark, after being toppled by the Siberian Silver Bear. Chris Billy joins the fray for our main event here tonight. But who is the fourth man? Is, of course, that sick bastard, the wild card, Robbie Deuce, as he marches down to ringside. He might be looking at this opportunity to challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship once again as a blessing. But look at the three men that he has to share the ring with. It seems to turn more into a curse than a blessing for Robbie Deuce. Robbie Deuce has issues with Chris Billy. He was the man that snapped Chris Billy's arm. He is very debatably, very arguably never been the same man since orchestrating all those attacks. Robbie Deuce also has issues tying back to the First Nation over the course of the winter. As Shedai, the World Heavyweight Champion at the time, receiving outside support. Total elimination. A quick tandem offense between Robbie Deuce and Popo here. Quite possibly the wisest decision going into this bout, as Chris Billy stands at 7'4" and 525 pounds here. And who could forget the tension that was building up between Popo and Robbie Deuce over the winter as well. Nobody came closer to dethroning the Viceroy during that period of time than the heartthrob Popo, and nobody had that opportunity ripped away from them so blatantly, with so much disdain, so much disrespect, as what we saw from Robbie Deuce. Popo's been chasing that same opportunity for the World Heavyweight Championship since Ignition. He was the odd man out when he challenged for the championship once again a month later at Destiny. He's had one hell of a claim to make, where the World Heavyweight Champion has not been able to defeat him in a championship bout here. And if he wins 4 corners here tonight as part of the World Heavyweight Championship Open, perhaps he will get one step closer to rectifying that claim here tonight. Robbie Deuce splitting Chris Billy wide open out here on the floor, right in front of the Kumite faithful. Irish whip into the guardrail. Robbie Deuce firmly in control of Chris Billy. A direct parallel, a polar opposite of what we saw back at Mayhem when those two clashed. Robbie Deuce retrieving a table. Looking for some items to assist him here tonight. Popo and Slarty slugging it out here. Popo locking in that figure 4 on Slarty. And it was many moons ago, many months ago, towards the inception of KPW, we saw Popo and Slarty wage plenty of wars back in 2024. Popo, a former Twitch champion, the second ever Twitch champion, going to war against the man that he lost that Twitch championship to, perhaps one of the most dominant Twitch champions in all of KPW's storied history, in the War Machine, Slarty. Big head of steam from that clothesline, courtesy of Robbie Deuce. Stereo knees to the groin of Chris Billy, as well as Popo. 2 count inside the ring as the action continues to erupt inside and out of the ring here. Absolute pandemonium in our main event here tonight. Low blow from Robbie Deuce to Chris Billy. Doing whatever he can to try and take the big man off his feet here. But certainly a body slam would not be the way to ideally go about doing this. And that might have been one of the most sickening assisted power bombs I've ever seen in my life there. The sheer force between Chris Billy and Slarty. It is an absolute miracle that Popo's still even standing after that half Nelson suplex.
Break.
Out of these 4 men, out of the combinations that we have seen in this ring here tonight, with so much history going into this 4 corners bout, surprisingly enough, we have never seen Slarty and Chris Billy lock horns inside the ring one-on-one. Another assisted double power bomb here as Robbie Deuce gets planted into the mat there. Robbie Deuce looking for some more tools of destruction here. Looking to settle for the steel steps here. And Chris Billy is absolutely leaking blood. He is wearing the crimson mask. Sorry, looking for quick elimination on Popo. Likewise is Robbie Deuce as he tries to eliminate Chris Billy. Chris Billy with full control of those steel steps here. Opting to use his bare hands as a means of destruction. Two-handed chokehold onto Popo there, but Popo was able to reach the ropes there. Popo trying to lift up the big man. Out working out to his favor here as Robbie Deuce swings those steel steps, crack right into the face of Chris Billy. Another overhead strike onto the 500-pounder. Collateral damage as Robbie Deuce launches those steel steps halfway across the ring, right through Chris Billy and into the back of Slarty. Try to kill 2 birds with 1 stone with offense like that. These three men. Slarty. What the hell was he holding in his hands there? It looked like his signature 2x4, but it looked a little bit different. Was that barbed wire?
Break.
One thing's for sure, Robbie Deuce locked eyes with the War Machine Slarty wielding that 2x4, and he ran for the hills. He ran like hell just to avoid the impact, just to avoid getting hit with that damn thing. Main event of Warzone here, ladies and gentlemen. Championship open. One of these four men will advance to a #1 contenders bout in 2 weeks' time on Warzone. These four men were randomly drawn, randomly selected across the roster. And we'll be repeating that process once again for next week's main event of Warzone.
1, 2, count 2.
As we see 8 of KPW's most viable, most credible challengers for the World Heavyweight Championship. Double pile driver onto Crisp Billy. And what a clothesline from Slarty to Robbie Deuce. But more importantly, the man beast, Crisp Billy, has been eliminated after that double pile driver. Full Nelson slam from Slarty.
1.
And think about the morale that would boost within the First Nation. Excuse me. If Slarty was able to overcome the odds here tonight. And there's that right hand of Robbie Deuce coming into the picture here once again. Slarty busted wide open. Crisp Billy staining the ring with his blood here tonight. Board buster from Robbie Deuce here. Slarty, that wooden table here. Robbie Deuce looking to go for that T-bone suplex. Pump handle bomb here. Sit out cover, 2 count. Lateral press onto Slarty here.
3.
And Popo steals the elimination for himself here. We are down to 2 men. Robbie Deuce looking to put Popo out of commission here. A T-bone through the table.
Break.
Shades of last Saturday night. The first domino to fall in a row for the man they call Ding. The underhanded tactics that Robbie Deuce utilized to emerge victorious that night, to stand tall over the icon. Or one of the most widely respected men across all of KPW. One of the most beloved stars here in KPW, the Dinger. We've seen how far Robbie Deuce is willing to take things here just to get exactly what he wants. It was already bad enough when he drove Ding off the harbor back in October with that tow truck. somehow, some way, Robbie Deuce found a way to escalate things, found a way to take it further last Saturday night at Summer Spark by lighting the Dinger's face on fire to secure the victory. We have no idea what sort of condition, physically, emotionally, the Dinger may be in. We have no idea, no time frame of when we could expect to see him again. As we saw just 48 hours ago, being escorted to the back before the main event by medical staff. Robbie Deuce making insult to injury here. A Dinger splash into the corner. Snap DDT here. This man is completely unhinged. This cold-blooded psychopath is willing to take whatever shortcuts he can just to get one step closer to the World Heavyweight Championship. This absolute piece of garbage. This loose cannon. Really got the luck of the draw earlier on tonight. And now the heartthrob Popo is gonna need one hell of a miracle to quell this absolute maniac. In case we thought things weren't already bad enough for Popo, he's been split wide open here, ladies and gentlemen. The heartthrob is in dire straits here tonight. The wild card, Robbie Deuce, clearly on a mission here, clearly out for blood here. Willing to push these athletes to their limits. No regard for their human lives, no regard for their safety, for their well-being. The only thing that matters to Robbie Deuce when that bell rings is Robbie Deuce. As he continues to beat the hell out of the heartthrob here tonight. Bulldog onto the steps, hooking the leg. That's gotta be it. No! Popo still has some fight left in him. Robbie Deuce drop kicking Popo away from him. Irish whip, Popo running the ropes here. Back elbow takes down Robbie Deuce here. And Robbie Deuce goes low once again here. Popo staying quick on his feet here. Feeling that surge of adrenaline here. Executing that enziguri, and now is Popo with the steel steps. And Robbie Deuce goes low to disarm him. What we are seeing in real time here, ladies and gentlemen, is Popo's fight or flight instincts. An elbow from the second rope, courtesy of Robbie Deuce. Running power slam onto the heartthrob. And this bout, if Popo doesn't switch up his game plan here, this is game, set, match for the wild card. He's looking to flush out the heartthrob here tonight. As he drills him in the head once again with those steel steps. from day one, ever since he stepped foot onto KPW property. Robbie Deuce has been going out of his way to systematically take down the most integral parts of this great ecosystem here. Oh, what the hell is this? Oh my God! Robbie Deuce!
3 eliminated.
Just drilled Popo with a wires dice on the steel steps. This is exactly what we meant here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, when we said Robbie Deuce is willing to do whatever it takes to further along his goals at the expense of the well-being of others. Robbie Deuce might just be the world's most dangerous man here, and he's advancing to the #1 contenders bout in 2 weeks' time here. We know that the world heavyweight champion Pierre Cinema is observing closely here. He knows exactly what's up for stake here. He knows the threat that might be looming in front of him. And Robbie Deuce has just dismantled the other 3 men in this 4 corners bout here tonight. And all I have to ask is this: which crazy son of a bitch is gonna enter the 4 corners main event next week just to step up against this man? I have been Tapey Styles, the only man that can call the action right down the middle, flying solo as always. Wishing you all a good night, everybody.